Hi, how are you?
How's things? How's the weather in UK?
It's sunny today. It's actually nice.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause we've had
that's
rain
cool.
for the past week, so
Oh, really? Awesome,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
It's very hot here in Abu Dhabi. It's very hot.
Is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time out to speak with me today. I'm alright to just jump in with the questions.
Before?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, would you both like to introduce yourselves to our listeners?
Yeah, I'll start with myself. My name is Abdullah Selim. I am Hamoudi father. I'm also father of three more child. I have two daughters, two in a college in the US, and I have two sons. Hamoudi is the youngest. And I work for Occidental Oil and Gas, currently a lead geophysicist in Abu Dhabi. And being in oil and gas industry, we have to move around and travel overseas to several places, uh,
Mm-hmm.
visit Oman, Qatar, US, Libya, actually, when is Hamoudi was born. And currently, and we moved to UAE last 8 years, and live in Abu Dhabi, which is kind of a nice home for us
Yeah.
for the last few years. Yeah.
Um, I'll also introduce myself. My name is Mohammed Selim, but I like to go by the name of Hamoudi. Um, I'm 14 years old and a student at the American Community School of Abu Dhabi. And I'm going to be entering my freshman year in the fall. I'm a pro player for a local team called Wahda, and I was born in Libya, but I was originally from Egypt and raised and grown in the USA and the UAE.
Lovely. So like obviously to get into everything and kind of set the scene, you guys have said that you moved around like so many places. That's like really interesting. What's sports kind of like just in general within the Middle East? Like, is it quite on the forefront? Is it quite a big thing over there? Like, can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, football is the most popular in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's like a life for many people. I mean, like in UK and also in the Middle East and here, it's really the football is the most popular game, and it's the most fun, and so many people here in the Middle East you really follow the Premium League, which is bring lots of entertainment for many peoples, and most of the kids in Hamoud age actually they know by heart the name of all the players in Premium League
Wow.
in Europe and stuff, and so yeah, it's the most popular one and most passionate sport for me actually when I was kid, and also for Hamoudi and his friend as well. Hamoudi is true. You agree with that?
Yeah. I also think like between USA, UK, and like UAE, I think
Mm.
there's like a clear difference between the countries I've played in. For example, the USA competition is a bit like smaller than UAE and UK because they're more focused towards like sports like basketball and American football,
Yeah.
but I think in the UAE and the UK, they're mainly focused on football, and that's their primary like thing. I think like if you are in the sports industry and if you go to UK or UAE, it's most likely going to be football.
Mm-hmm.
And um, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I just think there's also a skill difference in UK. Really, they have like better fitness, but I think in UAE they focus more on how technical you are at football.
Oh,
But
okay. Mm-hmm.
and then in USA, they don't really focus more on football, so like it's kind of hard to tell what it is.
Mm. Oh, awesome. That's really interesting. It's quite different then from what I'm familiar with in terms of football.
Yeah.
So in terms of like, talking about football, are there a lot of community sports, clubs, organizations where you are then? Is it quite on a big scale, all of these different clubs, etc.?
Yeah, we actually, I want to add also to Hamoudi is one difference between UK and UAE here. We visited UK many times, and there's so many community clubs and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But when we moved to Abu Dhabi a few years ago, there were only few really clubs driven mainly by Manchester City. Was actually is the owner of Manchester City is Sheikh Mansour, and the CEO is Khaldoon is actually from Abu Dhabi.
Oh,
So
I
when
see.
City came, they actually started this, and then also there was a great club called Bath. Also, it was actually Cess is the head of that. Is and between Bath and Manchester City, and also Sicily was a parental club. That was the only real clubs available at this time. And but later on, actually, so many teams came in like La Liga and so many private clubs. But for the other clubs, really the local one like Al Wahda Al Jazeera, they were really mainly restricted for the UAE citizen. But fortunately, the last few years, you start to open it up for expatriate, but you're just only allowed to take 4 spots, which are
Oh,
actually giving
okay.
the strongest players. And Hamoudi, what fortunately, Hamoudi had a chance to play with all these multiple teams, the private and most recently Al Wahda, which is he's currently at.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, that's amazing news. So, Hamoudi, would you like to share how you first got started in sports? Obviously, how did you end up becoming a pro footballer? Obviously, it's such a massive achievement for your age. Like, how did you first get into it?
I actually started while they're asking me to join in the Man City club, and I asked him why he wanted me to do football, because he just straight away just put me into Man City club. And when I asked him, he told me that it was because the fact of my feet were curved when I was born. And they were curved inwards, and actually the doctor told my dad in Arabic, told my dad that he would actually be a very good football player. So that's what drive my dad to let me try football. And then so he initially put me in Man City club, and then in the first season, I actually won the award in the Man City club. So
Well done for that.
so my dad.
That was a surprise for me, really.
So my dad was surprised because like he was mainly focused on my brother. So he decided I should go competitive and try for pass, but I actually got rejected from them. So that was like my first letdown. So my dad, I still wanted to play football because I started to get passionate for the game. So my dad, he just volunteered for Thistle. And yeah, that's where it really like all began, from playing competitive. And from there, there's Seth. He organized a team called Representative Team, and that representative team, it was kind of like, so Thistle and like Pass and all of those clubs, they were playing a league called Mubdala. And then so Seth organized that like the best players from Mubdala play against pro clubs. And it happened to me that I got scouted to play for the representative team. And yeah, and then when in the representative team, we played against a pro club called Al Wahda. And I tried my hardest. I did my best, and the manager for Al Wahda scouted me, and that's how my professional career started.
Wow, that's amazing. Because obviously, a lot of people hearing that they have some form of like disability or something that would usually limit them. You went past that. You saw that as like an opportunity to do something, and I think that's like really inspiring, especially at such a young age. Again, like it's not easy to do that at your age. So complete kudos to you for that. Also, you told me you first joined Manchester Club in Abu Dhabi as well, and you were trained by them. What was that experience like for you, and kind of what lessons did you learn in terms of football and just in general life, really?
Yeah. So like when we formed like the Thistle team and in Man City, especially in Thistle, because I've been there the longest actually. We weren't the best right away, and we didn't have a lot of support, but we had a lot of support from our parents because it was a volunteering team. Like you didn't have to pay. It was just you have to volunteer. So it was really like a parental love, and I think we came as a team together, and even though we weren't the greatest, I think one of our mottos was never give up because we weren't the greatest. I think that really inspired me, and I'm pretty sure the team to keep on working hard and like every day train football to try and be from going to that not the best skill level team to a really good team and like a good contender in the Mubdala League.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's such like an inspiring quote as well. Like it's so simple, but it has such a big meaning, I think, to a lot of people. And Abdullah, like obviously, as Hamini's just said, that you played such an important role as his father. You volunteered as well. Like that's, such an amazing thing to do for your son. From your side of things, what was like your experience as a parent, and why did you feel it was important that you got involved?
Yeah, one thing I really like to say really here is that there is no question that physical activity is extremely important for kids, and sport really help them improving their mental, their physical, and well-being. And most importantly, actually get them away from the video games and from staying long nights in front of screens. And the big important thing, really, I have a teenagers also that I realize that really the sport is a key important thing to get them away from bad stuff. Really, like all the teenagers want to experience, but then when they train every day, every weekend, they play games. They don't have time to for other bad things, drug, alcohols, or anything. And unfortunately, I think it's really important. So as a father, really, I spent a lot of time just not as before, even as volunteering coaching, just spent a lot of time after work, drive them to games, to training, and on a weekend, I just Hamoudi pointed to this CIS league, which actually was a great thing because we had to actually even before that league, we had to go to Dubai to play.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, on a weekend, spend all the weekend, really, me and my wife just going to the game, watch the game, and I have to admit, really, also when I start coaching and even actually, as an oil and gas, very busy schedule and lots of meetings between our, and between our base in Abu Dhabi. When actually I managed to have a time actually to go and coach, and actually it was a best time, wonderful time to me, really, coaching kids from under 7 all the way to under 12, where I unfortunately had to quit. A couple of years ago because of really the job. I had to travel to Oman many times.
I see.
But really, as a great really sport is key for kids, and really enjoyed it as a parent and also as a volunteer coach.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like family has such a massive role in terms of sports, and I think that's like to really highlight in terms of just getting involved. Like it's a family thing. It's such a community based thing. It's a good way to socialize with people, and I think that's really important. Also, you said you joined the club this, so you learned how to be a coach there, etc. What was like any key lessons you got out of that, like even as somebody training young children or even as a parent yourself, like anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, in Cecil really club, I started because I was not a professional coach. I started as assistant coach, and I really learned a lot of coaches within Cecil. Actually, Cecil, actually, kind of like all the coaches are from Britain, from Scotland, mainly, and they are really great. They all have like me when I was a kid, played and had passion to become footballer at one day, but I couldn't do it, either injury or academy. But I learned a lot actually there from being coaching from the coaches, and the key lesson really was the value of the teamwork. How to work, play together. How to get like young kids how to be together. That was the main thing. And I always tell them, okay, it's not a single game. If you want to be a solo, just go play tennis. But this is a game, a team. And actually, I learned a lot. Actually, being how to bring the team together. And actually, this is reflected in my work back to when I, back to working with my own job. Really, I help how to really the value of being a team, act together. So I was actually the biggest learning. The coaches, being a coach, helped me really.
Yeah, teamwork. Yeah, and it's such a transferable skill to many jobs as well. So again, like another benefit of sports is that getting different skills for life, really. Hamidi, going back to you, like obviously I'm guessing you played with Manchester club for a few years or so. Then you were scouted by the rep team and the Arwala team. You know, how did you feel when you found that out, and how did this play a role in like progressing your football career and your football skills?
Yeah, so in rep, it really affected my progression of a football career and my football skills. Even though I still wasn't a pro yet, I was extremely excited to play against pro players. It would really seem like my football, like a skill level. And then like when I would play with them, there was really like a difference between the skill levels. So I think that played a role. Like playing against the pro clubs, it played a role. It definitely increased. It definitely increased my football skills. It also told me that I had to work, because there still was a difference between playing in rep and playing as a pro.
Yeah.
So obviously affected my skills, and then it did affect my football career, because even though I wasn't a pro, I was still playing against them. So yeah, that was actually like a massive step for me to going pro.
Again, like that's like facing adversity, and you've done that head on as well. Like honestly, for me, like even that's just really inspiring. I think you should be really proud of yourself. Obviously, when you were scouted by the rep team, you said there was like a big match before. What was that like? And you know, what did they say when they approached you about joining like the team?
Yeah, so in the match, like Rep versus Wahda, they were looking to scout players. They would just ask the players info and say if they were interested to try out for our club. And yeah, so that's exactly what happened to me. Even though they first looked at other people first, I was probably like the fourth person they asked. Um, when they were talking with my mom about getting scouted, my mom told them, look at me and see how I played. And yeah, in that game, I actually did really well. I tried my best. I scored a goal and I did 2 assists.
Wow, well done.
And that really got the scouters like interested in me, and they just asked if I would be able to try out in a wahda, and yeah, that's what happened.
Wow, and I bet your parents were super proud of you.
Yeah, we are really so proud of Hamoudi and a bunch of kids here really in Abu Dhabi that we experienced really. Yeah, they done so well. They kept working hard, and they put all the in it. And as a matter of fact, really, that Hamoudi inspired me really even to do more just than parent, just by volunteering coach, you know. So we really enjoyed the ride so far, and I hope him to continue putting the best effort into the sport. He is passionate about it.
Yeah, and I imagine like it's really helped your relationship as well. Like both of you, you're with your mum as well, and like your siblings. Like I bet that's really brought you together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like really, I think it's the most fun. Not just only Ahmad, also I have my other kids. Like we had with the school, we have so many tournaments outside. Like we used to go to Oman and India, different places to watch, and in Dubai also all the time. So yeah, I think really, I mean, for many families here, and I can speak with them really. So many parents, they enjoy really, like every Saturday they go to watch the Mubaddala League that was really founded by Sis. Was actually did great for the sport in Abu Dhabi. It was like a big fun, and a big actually not just only for bringing the sibling together, bring also parent together. We used to have like go end of the season party, we go and the award ceremony, all the kind of stuff, which is unfortunately we miss these days because the COVID hits. I mean, all this to hold really, unfortunately, and I hope really things will back to normal.
Yeah, it's a massive shame, isn't it, for COVID? And like for any parents that may be listening to this, like what sort of advice would you give them if they're wanting to get more involved with their children in terms of sports? or even just like in any of their child's interests, like what kind of advice would you have for them?
I advise really any parent to start really with the kids at a really young age and put them into sport, any sport, multi-sport. So that's my advice. Even you shouldn't really wait until like elementary or middle school. Actually, when just 4 years old, just give them swimming, whatever, football, basketball, anything. But this is my advice. Just put them early. My second advice: don't push them. But like I have lessons. I'm a really footballer, and football is in my blood, and I have three. But I have one kid that she doesn't hate it, so I didn't push her. Don't push her to play it. But fortunately, she likes another sport. So really, and that's actually, I'm glad at least you're doing some sort of sport. So really, for any parent, just don't push, but at least encourage them, and then and keep motivation. Motivation is a good thing, really. Like there are some days really when my son, he come back, he's a losing game or he didn't play well. And I would have to encourage them to continue. So don't never quit early and continue, especially when playing competitive. Yeah. So it's really for all parents, please go and support and motivate your kids to play sport very early. Really. Yeah, that's my message.
Definitely an important dynamic, because sometimes obviously we all face days where we don't want to get out of bed. Like it's really hard to like even want to do something sometimes. So having that person just to give you that encouragement, that little push, I think, that's really, really important. And then obviously COVID came, how has that impacted the way both of you now participate in sports?
Yeah, that was really a big, it was a bad time, and it was it's a big negative impact. But I want to say something about Abu Dhabi and UAE here. I'm so admire really. They have COVID very, very well here. I mean, the ruler of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed, especially at the beginning of the COVID, when really like food and medicine lacking everywhere in the world, he said one thing really in Arabic. He said, "La tashilun ham." What that mean in English? Like, don't worry about food, medicine, and they really, since then, we get all, not just for the UAE local, for also the resident, we get like free vaccination.
That's
PCR
amazing.
is just one of the top in the world, like PCR. But unfortunately, also we had to really take precautions, and they closed the sport and the clubs, and that was like a March, April last year. But what I actually admire about Hamoudi, and also because he didn't give up really. Yeah, we even during the lockdown, he would train in a basement, and being also have some background coachings. I actually tell him to really work in a skill like the weak foot, the juggling, and then I see also that all the videos around, the juggling, the tissue and the challenge, and then Hamoudi actually he beat Messi record. I mean, he juggled the tissue. Is like really. I was so impressed with him. He's just shy actually. He doesn't want to say, but actually he did well. But also, I think, unfortunately, also my legacy was coaching. I have so many coaching friends, so I had to do also Zoom meeting. I mean, it was actually that's his al-Wahda coach. He did actually volunteering Zoom meeting to keep his fitness. So as this, thanks for the technology, Zoom and the Microsoft team, all this is new technology. Actually, is a positive thing from COVID that we didn't. We continued, and then when he opened it up gradually, went to the park. He played in the park, and he was his brother would go running, and of course he was wearing mask, and then he was still actually wearing masks, and we managed to do it, and then things opened partially again to Al-Wahda. He went back, but no game obviously, and but unfortunately the season ended early, like last May, and
of course,
we had also, we have to find other clubs and private coaches to continue so they don't lose the stamina and keep the fitness. But
and Hamoudi, how was that experience for you, like training, having to be moved online, like indoors? What was that like for you?
So in the beginning of COVID, like it was really hard, and I didn't think I would be able to train because like we first didn't know what was happening. But I think once we were out of quarantine and we started to know what was happening, I think my dad really wanted us to keep in shape once the football comes back. So my dad, he ordered us treadmills and sports equipment, not just for me, but for like my brother and my sisters, so we can still stay in shape. And yeah, I think we would just always work there and just keep our fitness going. And I think I was really thankful for that because I don't think because it was a long time where I would keep on doing that, and I think it actually really affected how I play now. I think I got a bit faster, my stamina got better in that COVID, even though football wasn't there. And then in 2021, that's where like the football clubs were back, and even though Wahda, the local club, wasn't back, um, my dad, he found clubs like La Liga and Dominate, where they would like work just football, and it was just football and working on ourselves. And
Nice.
yeah, and that's what I'm still doing now. I'm just gonna play on La Liga and Dominate, the things my dad got me, and wait until Wahda opens again, and then I'll just play with Wahda.
Yeah, that's again like really amazing. Like I'm glad you made the most of it during lockdown because obviously it was a very hard time for everyone. But at the same time, I think we've had that time to pause and like really reflect on ourselves, and just take time for ourselves. Really, like you said, like improve your fitness, etc. And Abdullah, how did you like go about finding these clubs? Again, why was it important for you to do this from your
Yeah,
perspective?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, yeah. We have to really like to keep the kids going, and yeah, I
Mhm.
used the internet and also my friend coaches and thing. And there are like few still clubs that Hamoudi mentioned. There is. Dominant and also La Liga there, and they're starting back, but with a small scale, just picking the high performance team they call it, the strong players, and yeah, they kept going really after even Al Wahda finished the season, and this war they still trained with this with the coaches, and actually the advantages now is just less kids, the less number of players, so they
Mhm.
more on one to one and some of the technique and some of the actually improving the performance. And I'm impressed really they improved Hamoudi since like May, since Al Wahda was ended the season early. And yeah, and then we're going to continue. The summer vacation is coming, and hopefully now the travel open, and we plan to go back home, the USA, and we
Oh,
will.
lovely, nice.
I will find also. Yeah, I already had a plan for him also to join some clubs and some competition there, and until hopefully things come back normal by August, and when we come back and
Fingers crossed. Yeah, 100%.
hope really things back and to normal, and yeah, and the league and everything. Yeah, I'm optimistic. Really, I think that. Yeah, just toward the end of the year, we will be succeeding in getting rid of the COVID, and then things will go back to normal.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that, definitely. And yeah, just to wrap everything up, is there anything either of you would like to say, highlight about sports, any of your biggest lessons, any advice for the listeners?
Yeah, my advice really for parents, and I give him the chance to advise his counterpart, the kids. I advise them to really be involved with the kids in a sport.
Yeah.
Yes, we spend more time with them, watching their games, keep encouraging them. Yeah, one big learning also, and just expose them to multiple clubs because there's a lot. Every club has a different style, different ways. Like for instance, Hamoudi has learned when he was training with a parental coaches club, the Sicily, and then went to another club and then City, Bus, and then even
Yeah.
actually other club didn't mention, and then ended up really a potential pro footballer. And yeah, multiple clubs. I think it did help really learn, get the best of every club and every different technique. And I think also just train extra. Really, if you want to reach the next level, my advice just train extra. Don't rely on like 2 weeks a week, 2 times a week, or just do extra at home and in a bar. And we're fortunate here about Abu Dhabi. It's just a nice place. Like we have so many facilities that we can go and
Yeah.
do really, so
And yeah, so and I would also think like based on my experience, I would say like when I had like letdowns or like when I had a bad game, I think support and encouragement really helped me, especially in Thistle because it was all volunteering. They like really wanted it, so they would support and encourage us. Like I said, they would give us mottos like never give up. I think that really helped me and motivated me to work hard. And yeah, I think that really helped me in my life.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's brilliant, guys. I think, that's everything I needed. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you both. I've learned so much from this.
Thank
And
you.
I think you're one of my new role models, honestly, Moody. So, that's amazing.
No, I appreciate it, Abby. And then I hope a few years from now, we'll go back to this one and see this is maybe the beginning of his, the road star,
Yeah, definitely. I have to keep my eye out on the news for you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Have a lovely rest of your day.
It's a Sunday.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.